going on, folks? It is episode 74 out of your Falcon Mind. We got a little bye-week special going on. I got a few guests. Some other folks may come by. It's going to be just a fun little night to talk. There's some news happened today. I'm sure y'all, unless you're under a rock, y'all heard about it. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's go. What's going on, folks? It is John here from Out of Your Falcon Mind on episode 74. Like I said in the intro, as you can see, Mike's not here, and I put it on Twitter earlier, and you guys know he's been missing the last few weeks. He'll be back at some point. He's just got some things going on, and personally that he's dealing with. So he's good, he's fine, all that good stuff. He's just taking a little bit of time off, and as you guys saw last week, Fleek from ATB Around the Block, he helped me co-host, and he's going to keep co-hosting with me for a little while. And stepping in. So really appreciate him doing that. He might be on tonight. Guys, I sent out some invites to our friends tonight. We got a few on that I'm sure you know. Adam Holloway, Damski on Twitter. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just, post football season for me here. So I'm withering away to nothing. No, all my kids are playing basketball, so I'm making the basketball rounds now.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Yeah, we've been trying to hook up for like months now, but it was like your kids' football overlapped with my kids' baseball, and it was just we could never get together. So we finally got a little bit of time,
right, brother?
Man. Nonstop, brother. Nonstop.
That's how it is.
Man. But glad to have you back on the show. But it's been since I think we did the QB draft special preview type of thing prior to the season. I think it's the last time you were on. So
yeah, been a while.
And then of course, man, Big Low Kuntry.
You don't need any introduction.
I don't even need an introduction. Let me look at this guy.
Look at him.
What in the world? Don't listen to Adam, man. You can't listen to Adam. Anything Adam tell you, don't believe it. That's how you got to go about things.
Oh man.
Big Low, how you doing, buddy?
Man, we fared to partly clouded, my friend. We fared to partly clouded, trying to make it, man.
Absolutely, we made it, man. Before we get into everything, man, yeah, like I said, it's coming to you this week, as always, from Variety Sports Network. For you guys that are watching on YouTube, if y'all are going to comment, I will get to the chat here in a little bit. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a unstructured but structured type of show, so we'll just kind of let it flow and see where it goes. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. That like button helps us out so much. Just get out there to other Falcons fans when they look to find us on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, just drop us a 5-star review. And also I had a comment on Anchor, because we do put it out on Anchor. That's our platform for podcasts. And just want to shout out Kimberly ATL Pete. She said on the last show, great show as usual. I totally agree about putting the rookie QB in the game. Just figured I'd share this one because, it's kind of pertinent. Should do it and see what we have instead of icing him on the bench. Yep, Kimberly, I think we agree with you. And I think Arthur agrees with you, man. So let's just jump right into it, boys. There's a QB change. How about it?
Well, it's kind of like my daddy used to say back in the day. I guess monkeys do fall out of trees sometimes. Here we are. 13 weeks in, but it's one of those situations. I'm definitely excited because I think he's gonna add a whole nother element to our offense.
Agreed. What you say, Damski?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say excited, because, by the way, full disclosure, I've been shit posting all day about this, and it's been eating up the likes, and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna keep going because this thing's rolling. And but it's funny, so it's impossible for me to just respond to every single comment. So, but I do look through them, and they're like, oh, I'm buying tickets. So I think it's re-energized the fan base a little bit here, and it could come down quicker. If Ridder goes 6 of 20 and 82 yards or something, it could come down hard. But if he looks good in New Orleans, it could be fun. It could be a real fun little playoff. Football's funny because if you capture lightning in a bottle at a right time, you can do some strange things, right? So if they could get on a little tear here and do something, they could upset Tampa Bay and steal that little divisional wild card or divisional spot, right? By winning the division, it'd be fun. I'm excited. I think this is the most excited that we've been in a while. So I'm all for that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think, like you guys just said it. I think the fan base was just kind of getting tired of week in, week out, especially these last 4 or 5 games when there really hadn't been like a lot of them. They've looked very similar. Like we've lost close games, but we've had we've had plenty of opportunities. We just missed them, whether it be through passes and the defense forgot how to tackle and just all kinds of just different things that went on. So it's not been all on Marcus, but he's definitely contributed to a lot of it. So I mean, that's been my whole thing. I mean, I personally probably would have done it like 3 weeks ago, but I understand kind of where Arthur was in it because I mean that we heard all season long, we're in this race, whatever. That's kind of what he was using as a crutch. But after a while, I started thinking like, how much is he hurting us though in this race? Like, will we possibly be better if I know it's crazy because we don't know what we have in Ritter, but just the small amount that we saw in the preseason and watching him for 4 years in college, like I just kind of felt like just in general he's a better passer, and like you said, Low, it's probably going to open up the playbook a little bit more and just kind of you might see some more dropbacks rather than just straight RPOs. And I mean the offensive line's actually gotten a little bit better in pass protection over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I mean it's. I mean, I know PFF kind of is what it is, but like their grading has been higher for those guys, and just watching it, like he's had time to throw. Marcus has had time to throw these last few weeks. He's not been just getting collapsed upon, and and he's still been missing some of those wide open targets. So that's what's been just like driving you nuts, man. So I don't think he had really. I think at this point, and when the Bucks pulling that out of their ass the other night that kind of helped us out a little bit too, because I mean, obviously. That I think that put our percentage at like 4% to make the playoffs. So I mean, that kind of, we're still in it, quote unquote, but not really kind of in it. Depending on how like Adam said, if we finish out these last 4 strong, who knows? But I mean, I think it's perfect, man. He's his first start in New Orleans. I mean, how awesome would that be to start his career there if we go down there and get the win, of course.
Yeah. I think it's one of those situations, especially with Marcus. There were so many different things that people were frustrated about, but I feel like Marcus just kind of took too many things upon himself. Like it got to the point where, and I'm sure you probably seen this, Adam. There were times he wasn't even calling out blitzes. Like I don't know if he felt like he could eat that blitz himself and make a move or what. But I mean, it got to the point where it was like, are we watching The Longest Yard? Like what are we watching here?
Great movie, by the way.
So hopefully we'll be able to actually, call out blitzes, make hot reads, and I mean, just things that you need to do to retriculate the ball down the field, opposed to running the speed option on 4th down.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. Is like I was saying earlier in the spaces, is that like everybody's like so used to this like condensed version of this offense that like what if we open up New Orleans and they go spread, they go 4 receiver set, like we ain't shown none of that this year.
Nope.
Right. And then I said counterpoint to that, we'd probably do that, we'd get the open look and then Ridder would sail it just on nerves alone, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like it would just be something to see. It's be like, damn, it's like, okay, yeah, there was an element to this thing that we didn't have with Marcus. Obviously, he wasn't comfortable doing. I just think, like, I think too, like the biggest thing with Marcus is he's like such a great person off the field that and people naturally gravitate to him. So it's like, how can you justify benching that, right? But at the end of the day, all those guys are in a results-driven league, and if you don't perform and you're limiting what is going on in your offense, then obviously you're going to, like, no matter who you are, you could get benched, right? So, I mean, I think this is good because like we had to see what Ridder is, and just for the future of the franchise in general. Like the Falcons need to find like who's that guy, whether it be for the next 8 to 10 years or whether it be 4 years. Like Arthur doesn't have the luxury of being like, yeah, like we came in, this is our franchise guy. Like they have to find that guy, and like how they do that, how they go about that, whether it be a bet, whether it be a rookie that they develop. That's what like their mark on this franchise is going to be measured by, right? So I mean, they gotta make that swing now. They're gonna, like, 4 games is a small sample size, but say they don't like a quarterback in the 23-22 class, right? And then you get Ridder for a full another 17 games, and then you go into 24 and you put that at the top of your list and you ship off 3 first-round picks, either in the draft or for a vet that you like, right? So, I mean, it's just imperative. Like the Falcons have to nail down this position. So, Marcus Mariota had 13 games to do it. Didn't do it. Didn't nail it down. And, now it's Ridder's time to shine. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah, agreed. And I've brought the point on the show the last few weeks is too. I mean, you kind of want to have an idea just going into free agency. You mean like the guys you're trying to sign, like you don't want to not have your quarterback position at least kind of nailed down, because you're not trying to go to these guys. They're these guys that we want to get probably coming here. They want a chance to win. They want to win, right?
Yeah.
So they want to go to a place where they're not. They know who their quarterback's going to be. So I mean, if they come to a spot where they're like, we're not really sure, if we're going to start with this guy, we may go to this guy. That doesn't sound super appealing to most free agents.
Mm-hmm.
So like I thought that was important. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think that Arthur, if all things equal, he would have preferred having Marcus start the entire season? Do you think that was what he would have preferred, or do you think like this was inevitable, it's going to happen regardless, no matter what?
I mean, I do feel like he preferred to have Marcus start the entire season. It's almost like he was going, he what's going on, Fleek?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, we
What's
trying to make it,
up?
man. Trying to make it.
I know it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like I feel like his relationship with Marcus previously kind of affected his judgment in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And touch on that point that you made previously, Adam. It's like you talking about this condensed playbook that we have. Adam, you ain't never ate at the Waffle House, have you?
I did actually. It was in Myrtle Beach. I did have Myrtle Beach Waffle House. Yeah.
Okay.
A man of culture, by the way.
Listen.
You get the All-Star?
No, I did get the All-Star, but I went at 2 a.m. to get the real experience.
Hello.
Attaboy.
That's it. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay, dear. But
Okay.
what I was getting ready to say is that it's like, so Waffle House, one thing that a lot of people don't know, they have their own catastrophe index. So like if there's a hurricane in the area, you could literally go online and look at the Waffle House to see, who has a full menu and who has a limited menu. And you can look at that, and that determines how bad the catastrophe is in that area. So
That's crazy.
So what I'm getting, the point I'm making is that it's one of those situations where I felt like we were working on the limited menu with Marcus Mariota. We couldn't go and get the Texas cheesesteak melt like we would normally get. We're only limited to All-Stars and bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches because Marcus Mariota didn't have the resources to give us the full menu.
And bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches are only good for so long, right? Like you can only have so many of those sandwiches.
You eat 13 of those in a row, it gets kind of like, all right.
Because then you're kind of craving steak and eggs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what you're
shrimp
looking
and
for,
grits, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I know y'all are talking about Desmond Ridder. Just real quick, how I feel about it. Y'all know I love it. I feel like it's a little too late. Just my personal opinion. But it's better than nothing. I think this has the fan base excited like Adam was talking about. Because the last 4 games with Marcus Mariota still at quarterback were probably going to feel kind of pointless in a way because we know what we are. We know our ceiling with him at quarterback. But now that we have Desmond Ridder in the lineup, of course, he's going to make mistakes. He's still a rookie. This is still his first game, and he's in New Orleans. Like, that's tough for anybody. So, I want us to have tempered expectations, but I do think that this offense now has a different aspect to it that we can enjoy because even with Marcus in the game, and I talked about this on the podcast yesterday, a lot of the passing concepts were open. A lot of receivers have been getting open all season. And, sometimes the ball just wasn't getting there for whatever reason. So I feel like if Desmond can make a couple of the throws that Marcus couldn't, I feel like we become better instantly.
I just think like our buddy JR there from Pound for Pound, he posted that thread And like I actually forgot how good he threw the dig route. Like there was a couple times on that thread where he threw like the 15, 18-yard dig, like really like into a hole, like a real NFL hole. I don't care first string, second string, like those are windows, those are NFL windows. Like and he threw it with anticipation. And that's something that Marcus doesn't do. He doesn't throw with anticipation. He very much is like a college quarterback where he needs to see it open to throw it, which is upsetting, but it is what it is, and that's what he is as a passer, and that's why the passing game is so limited. I mean, luckily Arthur's a wizard in the run game, and that's what's been getting us going. And like I know people look at like the actual functional carries that Marcus Mariota has, like, oh, he only had 7 or 8 carries this game, so he's not really affecting the run game. Anybody that's coached football knows a guy that's an athlete back there is a guy that you have to account for every single play. So if he's an athlete back there and he's doing some kind of fake or a play action, something, like you have to account for that guy taking the ball as well. So while he may only have 7, 8 carries a game, he's still affecting the way that team's game plan against that.
Exactly.
And I think that's one thing that I want Desmond Ridder to like. I don't want us to run zone reads with Desmond Ridder. It's not going to look good. It's not going to look organic. It's going to be, you're asking him to do something that he's not really good at do. But run when there's run lanes in the passing concept, right? Like if you're doing a play action boot, or if everything's mugged up and hey, there's 7 yards to be had on the leg with your legs, go get those 7 yards. Like just give teams things to think about when they're gaming planning for him. That's my biggest. I don't need him to run for 100 yards. I need him to run for like 30 yards or 20 yards and throw for 240, right? Like that's kind of where you want to be at.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, looking at like that, you said that thread. I went and shout out to iRewind on Twitter. They posted a little YouTube video that the QB school did right after the Jets game in the preseason. So they basically just broke down not all of, but most of like Ritter's passes. I think he was 10 for 13 in that game. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Adam, like he threw a few digs that were right just on the money, man. He threw a dude open. I'm talking about pinpoint accuracy, like just missed like stuff that you didn't see Marcus do. I mean, like he looked, and I went back and watched a few of the games from the preseason, and it's just everything, like his and we said it throughout the year, but like his demeanor, his poise, his calmness in the pocket, his stepping up in the pocket, his footwork looked good. Like there was a lot of things to like about. Of course, like Lowe said, you're gonna make mistakes, of course, especially, and that's one thing you worry about a little bit, I guess, going to New Orleans is like, yeah, I mean, you don't want him to force anything, or throw something that's not there just to try to make a play, like you want him to just kind of, hey man, like this is cliche, but like don't play outside of yourself, like just do what you're supposed to do, but I do think like Adam said, like, yeah, you're going to see more dropbacks. You're not going to see, it doesn't make any sense to run the same exact offense because he's not Mariota, like he said. I mean, Marcus is an elite runner. So, I mean, like that's one really good part of his game. And obviously we know Desmond's fast. We don't know that. I mean, he ran the ball in college, but I mean, like, it's a little different now. So, I mean, we'll see what he's got. But
what was that Jets game? He had about 60 yards rushing. Was it the Jets game? He had about 60 yards rushing.
No, I believe that was the Lions game.
I think it was Lions.
Whatever that game,
Lions, yeah.
Like he was able to tempo that passing attack and the rushing attack so well. And if he's going to be making those mental decisions now, he's going to be fine in this league.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like those are big boy decisions, right? And he was getting out of bounds. He was sliding. He wasn't putting his body in harm's way. Like those are, and I think that's when Arthur was talking about earlier in the offseason was that just his mental maturity is just absolutely fantastic. And I think that's such an underrated element to him. And I'm honestly really excited to see it. I really, and I said the other day about like, oh, I'm not sure if Desmond's the guy. Like that's a given. Like we don't know if Desmond's the guy.
Right.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? I'm excited to see the process. Like we'll see what he can do.
I will tell y'all something though. I honestly think this offense is going to become a little bit more balanced. I know a lot of people feel like, we're still going to run the ball like it's going out of style, but I honestly think that, I mean, because just like Adam was mentioning earlier, whenever you have a running quarterback like Marcus Mariota, everybody takes account. And, we, as a coaching staff, we always say, okay, well, defensive ends, he's going to be taken out of those running plays to the off ball side because he's going to be sitting there, rocking back and forth like he's swag surfing, trying to decide whether or not he's coming down. So
you coming or you going? You coming or you going?
Exactly. So with more people actually being in the box, and they're not accounting for Desmond Ridder as much, I can honestly see the offense being a little bit more balanced. Us throwing the ball, I would say 28 times.
Yeah, and it gives.
But
go ahead.
Do you hate that though? I mean, me personally, I think that's a good thing. Like we said, some of the passing concepts have been open this season, and I still believe, especially if we get the passing game going, like I don't think people realize sometimes how one-dimensional we've been and how successful we've still been able to run the ball. Like teams know what we're gonna do, but we still are able to complete our game plan on the ground at least. So add a passing attack to that, I think the offense just gets better, and I think we take a step because of that. So I know some people may see it as a bad thing, but I think that may be a good thing.
No, man, like you guys said earlier, there's been games where 20, 30, 40, 50 more yards probably gets us a win in that game. I mean, it's happened several times this year. So, and I mean, and looking at like when I was telling Lo before the show, like I was out working today and I got my Twitter started going off about when they made the change, and then I got home, so I'm just trying to get through the timeline, looking at everybody's comments, and for the most part, like it seems like everybody's got the right kind of attitude about it, right? It's like Adam said, we don't know, we can't, like number one, like QB is so hard to call anyway, like whether it's a first rounder or a third rounder or a fifth rounder, you don't know until they're on the field, they're making those decisions or making those throws or not making those throws. And so, but it seems like the majority of the people, other than the Mariota stands, which I still can't figure out how he has so many of those, but
I got attacked already, so don't
other than those,
for the petition.
Yes.
I mean,
of course.
I mean, other than those, though, like, I mean, it seems like everybody's kind of like, yeah, okay, we understand what he is or what he might not be, and we're gonna give him a little bit of space.
You already know, man. You already know.
But seriously, on that though, like, where did that come from? Like, it's like I had no idea. Like, it seemed there's people more attached to him than like Matt. And Matt was here for 14 years.
I'll say this: Polynesian culture is very family oriented, and they're very much that. And
I get that end of it.
I totally can respect that, but when you're attacking one of theirs, right? Like they get upset, and that's fair. It's like your family member, like, you know what I mean? Like somebody attacks Big Low, I'm right there for him, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's my guy. So it's like that's just what it is. It's just it's a real culture, and they embrace it. And the problem is Marcus, like we said it before, like Marcus is such a great guy, right? Like off the field, you've seen all of the
MMA
all the
Foundation.
players. Sorry, all the players going back. Oh, this isn't Marcus' fault. This isn't Marcus' fault. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like I said, it's a business, and Arthur Blank ain't going to sit there and be like, "Hey, we're not doing this short game we're not doing the short game with this for long. We gotta get this thing on the road here." I'm sure, and I'm sure Terry Font knows the same way, right? Like you got to think like Arthur's the now, Terry's the later. His job is going to be based on whether they hit on this quarterback. So they got to be like, hey, I need to see if Ridder is the guy, because or else if he's not, then I got to put all these resources in going crazy on these quarterback class in 23 to see if there's a guy there that we want, right?
Yeah, and every, I mean, like you said, he's a great guy, but like literally every single press conference the last 6 weeks, he started it with, it's on me, I got to be better. It's like every single one, so it's like, man. But and two, another aspect of this too, I mean, the Saints, they don't really know what to expect now. I mean, it could be that goes in our favor as well because this is not going to be the same. Just line up and do what we've done with Mariota. So I mean that's a little feather in our cap too. Let's jump in.
It's like going to somebody's house to eat for the first time. Like you don't know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Let's hop in the chat real quick. DSF. That's actually my son. What's up, buddy? I know you're watching.
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
He's probably not. He's probably playing Madden now. He probably just he probably popped in there for a second. What's going on, Big Pop? He just put up 4 flames. What's going on, buddy? Carrie, what's up? She said, "What's up, y'all? So happy to catch you live tonight, John. Yeah, we appreciate you always, Carrie." Bubba Gump said, "I'm there talking about Marcus. He's a nice guy, but too scared to throw downfield. Ritter isn't afraid to let it go." What we've seen so far. And Xavier, what's up, bud? He said Desmond has the running capabilities too. Yep, he does. Yeah. He said he ran the exact same 40 time as Mariota. Yeah, I think it was what? Is it a 4.5?
It was a 4.52 officially.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
What Mariota ran a 4.5? I thought he was a 4.4 guy.
He was a 4.4 when he came out, I think.
Okay.
Like originally, yeah, he's probably not that anymore.
The day of the number was 4.49, but when the official came out, it was 4.52.
Makes sense. Let's get one from Carrie. She said, "In Florida, we know shit's getting real when hurricane is close to Waffle, and they close the Waffle House."
Oh yeah, something to go down, Carrie.
Oh yeah. She said, "I beg for a run game in recent years. I love that we have one, but I'm excited to see Ritter because I feel like we've been so one-dimensional with Mariota, and now with Ritter, we'll pass too." Yep,
that's exactly it. And that's the thing. You want to run the piss out of the ball, but like if you don't have a passing concept to beat the brakes when they start stacking the box, you're gonna be shot. And I think that's part of the problem is that Marcus was literally one of the worst deep ball passers in the history this year of the NFL this year. Like I seen a stat, he was up there with like Blake Bortles back in the day.
Dude, it
it was bad.
And like a week ago, he had attempted he was number 5 in attempts. For like over 25 yards.
Because it's there. When you're stacking the box, the shots are there, right? You gotta hit those.
Yeah, exactly. And Xavier said if it bottoms out in 23, it's Caleb Williams. There you go.
Hey.
There you go.
That boy's him.
You're going to get no argument from me on that one. That dude is ridiculous. Yeah, painted fingernails and all, man. Like, I don't even care.
I'm telling you, rock star.
Yeah, you see that he they're saying like a few Heisman voters not going to vote for him because of that.
That's crazy,
man. They don't understand swag.
This is my biggest. Canadian football is the worst for this. I'm gonna tell you this way. In Canada, we can't even have tinted visors here. Do you know that?
You serious?
You cannot wear tinted visors. You know back plates.
Yeah.
You know back plate. You cannot wear back plates. Back plate cannot be showing. This is my problem, bro. We got old white men running these damn leagues, man. We need some damn culture down here.
Ain't nothing like the back plates with the sticker on it.
Man. It's crazy,
especially
man.
You want to see a big linebacker with a plate, man.
Yeah, man. Let them have fun, man. It's so crazy. I hate this, man.
Let the man have a back plate at least.
You know my son's got that thing on him. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I already know
that. We bend the rules around here. We have fun. That's why we're one of the top teams in Ontario. Man,
the tinted visors is crazy.
It's crazy, man, and it's crazy because the business that I'm part of now, K Sports, we got sponsored from Shock Visors, and Shock Visors sent us some stuff, and he's got like this sick blue visor. And I'm like, man, you're just gonna have to wear it to practice. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what to do.
All right. Well, so my next point or my next topic, or not really topic, but just kind of going on with what we've been talking about. So now that Marcus is benched, y'all see what it's going to cost if we keep him, right? Have y'all seen this?
17 mil, 15 mil,
12.
It's 12.
Yeah, so I'm not paying 12 for Marcus for a backup next year.
Like 4.
Are expensive though, John. These backups are expensive though.
They are, but
think about it. Who else would you get?
I can tell you in a second. Hang on.
You could probably restructure that contract or extend it and make it cheaper though. I can't see us paying that personally.
Yeah, I mean, pay it either.
No, I mean that would yeah, preferably is something that you're not trying to. So I mean, like there are, I mean, several free agent quarterbacks. How about a little Gardner Minshew action here in Atlanta? How about that?
Not bad. That's not bad.
I'm down.
Okay, Minshew Mania. Okay.
Unrestricted free agent. He'd probably be pretty cheap. Let's see. I'm just looking at guys that may fit our help. I mean, like, and then there's other guys like Tyler Huntley, Phillip Walker.
I actually don't hate the Minshew fit. Like
I don't either, to be honest.
Decent fit.
I don't either, to be honest with you. Drew Lock, you know, we can always get Drew here. And everybody else. Now we're getting into these next guys are all starters for the most part, so it's not going to happen. Yeah, but those that's really it, man. I mean, like there's some other guys, but they're not really. Their statues are not what needs to be in our offense.
Yeah, boy, you're right.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Here
we go.
Nah, I'm just joking.
No, I mean that's not. I mean, we did it with Matt, but I think Arthur kind of arranged that offense so Matt could run it. You know, that's not what he prefers, though. I mean, but that's
what I think that's the most crazy thing about Arthur Smith over these past like 2.5 years now. He's like, this is going to be like the third offense he's like implementing on the fly here, and it just seems like he's just an offensive like guru, man. Like he knows what he's doing, and that's like I think that's the thing that gets me most excited about him and Ridder together is that I think we're going to see some fun things.
Yeah, same here. Xavier said, "Go get Nick Mullen." Yeah, I mean, like he's. I think he's. Let me look at Nick Mullen. He's.
Nick Mullen, yeah, he ran that San Francisco scheme pretty
good.
Good.
Yeah. It's $2 million.
Did
$2
DTR declare at UCLA?
You know what? I don't know. I haven't seen that.
He declared. Then just go get him in like the 6th.
Victor Herrera said, "Draft Cam Rising as Ritter's backup." We just talked about Cam Rising on the last show. Fleek, he was. I mean, he's a fighter, man. We give him that.
Yeah,
he's a fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, thing is, you need a vet though. You need a vet. Back.
Yeah.
You don't have two young guys, I guess.
Yeah.
And Victor said, as a Utah fan and a Falcons fan, I'm banging that drum. Yeah, I mean, do that. Yeah, I mean, and Bubba Gump said Minshew mania for QB2. Yeah, man. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I mean, he's got a little bit of swag to him as well, a little bit of craziness. I mean, you know,
a little bit of wiggle in his hips. He can move a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what we do. I mean, obviously, you know, if we don't pick up that option for Mariota, that's going to put us right around what 90-ish million for
something like that
to spend.
I mean, but half of us going to re-signs though.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I just brought this up with Lowe too before the show. I don't know if you guys have seen. Have you guys seen the value for? I think I commented on your show last night, Fleek. The Caleb McGarry figure right now.
Contract. Yeah.
Have y'all seen that? 17.5 million. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm doing that. And
I'm playing franchise tag with him. Probably.
That's what I said too, bro.
How much would the franchise be though?
I think it's like 13.
Yeah, I would say 13, 14, somewhere around that.
Yeah, I could do 13.
It's kind of a round price, right? I mean,
I could do that.
Hey, if you can do it this year, let's see if you can do it next year, and we'll pay you next year.
Yeah, exactly. Like the second year, prove it type of thing. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, and look at, I mean, you know, and like what you were saying, Adam, about Arthur too. Watching some of the breakdowns some other people have done on YouTube, like the QB school and stuff like that, it's crazy. Like that's one thing that, and I also heard as well, Josh Kendall from The Athletic talking with Aaron Freeman today about it as well, that Marcus didn't get as much credit for, but was actually with as kind of complicated as Arthur's schemes are, like how good Marcus was at getting people, like understanding all of that, getting people in, you know, the right folks in there, getting basically the ball snapped before the play clock ran out. Like, you know, it's like he basically said he didn't get enough credit for that, but that's one thing that, you know, he said that kind of not worries him, but like it's one thing that Ridder will have to kind of deal with, because he, you know, in the preseason he was like, this stuff was all like, all the play calling was kind of dumbed down. You weren't calling like, you know, this exotic stuff that we may be calling now. But looking back at some of, I mean, he did run like some of the diamond stuff in the preseason and some of the heavy sets and some of the trips. So, I mean, like he ran different stuff that we really haven't seen, you know, like since with Marcus. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think, you know, I mean,
yeah,
so
that is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's something else to think about. But I mean, yeah, and on that note too, I put out a little tweet about what folks would grade Arthur this year. Like, which I figured would get some type of response, and it did. So A through we'll just say A. We'll start with you guys. Low, what you giving an Arthur for the year so far up to this point?
Man, I gotta give him C minus.
C
Ooh.
minus.
Yeah, I gotta give him a C minus. I think the stubbornness. You know, I mean, just me myself looking at it as a coach. You know, sometimes you just gotta learn how to delegate. You know, he's trying to call the plays and be the coach. We missed out on a timeout last week. Because you know he was trying to call plays, be the coach. Should have called the timeout before the 2-minute warning. Just for the simple fact that we waited so long to make this move with Desmond Ridder. Just small things like think about that Washington game. Cordero Patterson went out of bounds.
No, they're not.
You know, not handling our timeouts the right way, calling the pass play that would have scored. Or if they didn't catch it, or they didn't intercept it, if it would have been incomplete, it would have been a timeout for them, basically. I mean, do you really trust your defense to hold them to under a field goal? I mean, there's a whole lot of things that come into play. I think I gotta give them a seat. You know, it's the stubbornness for me. You know, but I definitely give them credit for kind of establishing our identity. I got to give them credit for that. But yeah,
agreed. Yeah, we've never been. I mean, at least in the Dan Quinn era, I mean, we were never thought of as a tough team or like a team that anybody was scared to play. You know what I mean? Or like these guys. I mean, yeah, from the start to finish, they're going to bring it. And I don't think we've ever ran the ball like this in our history. Like since maybe Michael Turner years. When we were rolling pretty well. And I mean Shanahan with that first year with Devonta and Tevin Coleman was pretty nice too. But yeah, I mean that's what you say, Adam.
Yeah, I think it's a strong B. I just mean like I think like this year we were supposed to be like historically bad, like it looked like. I think we've been like without like Marcus like running us into the ground. I think it's looked okay. Like it hasn't looked great, but like you got to understand, like we got the most dead cap. We have like literally next to nobody on defense. Like I said this before, if you gave somebody a piece of paper with 12 slots on it and you put in Grady and AJ Terrell, would anybody be able to name? Or sorry, 11 slots. That's Canadian me. Sorry. Would you be able to know the 9 other players? And I honestly don't think anybody would. Like, I just think there's so much bad, and he's given like hope for the first this first aspect of the season. I mean, even now there's hope that Ritter's going to be the guy. So I feel like he's been able to like he's like we're like the mice and he's got the cheese, right? Like he's bringing us along for the ride in, but he's doing a good job of it. Like it looks good. I mean, like Lo was saying, like there's some things that were bad for sure, but I think this is just a building year all around, and I appreciate everything he's done. Like I was overcritical of him too. Coming into the year, I just thought the offense was going to be so complacent, but the run game is like we probably got the best run game caller in the league. And if we can find a quarterback to like heighten the pass game, they're gonna work hand in hand with each other. And the beautiful thing of it all is that Arthur's the head coach, so he ain't going anywhere. So this thing's just gonna be like a constant turning chain and just keep moving and moving and moving, right? So
yeah.
I think it's a strong B. For the thing, like it's obviously not an A because of what Lo was saying, but I got to give credit where credit's due because I honestly thought they're going to win 3 games, and they've already what I mean. They're already at 5. So I mean, and there's some winnable games down the stretch here, especially if Desmond can come out swinging. So yeah,
What say you, Fleek?
Yeah, I would say B minus for kind of the same reason. I think we're all gonna have a lot of the same points in our explanations, but like a big chunk of that grade off is because of the stubbornness, like Lo said. But I have been a big fan of the play calling this year. The run game has opened up, and like I said, I think a lot of the passing concepts will be there as well. The stubbornness to keep Mariota in this long actually plays a pretty big part in it for me. because I know that while some fans look at it as, okay, the season's over, let's just throw the rookie out there. Because it's always been the common thing that Mariota give you the better chance to win right now. But I actually feel like maybe Ridder gives you a better chance to win right now. And I'll know soon. I'll know before too long.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd say a B minus. Few questionable decisions here and there, but I feel like he and Terry, and I know Terry isn't in this, but they've just created a culture here in just 2 years that I feel like I could be proud of. Not so finesse and ticky tacky. It's like I'm coming at you and we're gonna play a real game of football, and that's what's keeping us in these games. We had one game where we just wasn't in it at all. That was the Cincinnati game. It's
Right.
kind of like the outlier. But other than that, though we are 5-8, we've been in most of the games. So, B minus, I say is a fair grade.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. I mean, and like you said, I'm not going to repeat what everybody said, but I mean, when what Lowe said, I mean, the delay to bring him in, and a few of the things, a few of this to like Micah said it on the show earlier in the season, just kind of outthinking himself, in certain situations. Like, dude, like it didn't like you. It's not that complicated. I mean, like even just like last week in the first half, like he said they were stacking the box. Well, that's never stopped him before. Like we still ran the ball. I mean, like, and we still were successful doing it. So like, I mean, like let those guys prove that they can stop you. Before you just abandon it altogether and try to do something we're not good at, which is throw the ball. I mean. So just things like that. But yeah, I mean, like second year coach, still learning. So I'm not hating on it. And like Adam said, which by the way, Adam had to jet. He just want to let you guys know he had to get out of here. But yeah, I mean, the dead cap, everything that he's got going against him for the second year. I mean, like next year when we've got hopefully some solid free agents and another good draft class, that we can see like some actual real progress with it, which should be interesting. So we'll see what some of the chat said. Get back up here. Let's just see. Xavier said DTR had entered the NFL draft. Well,
okay, awesome.
That will be interesting.
He's an interesting prospect. Yeah.
Carrie said, been seeing people on Twitter saying Cam. Oh God, I don't know. I can't do that.
For backup in Atlanta?
Yeah, right. You don't want him anywhere near the locker room, man. Nowhere near that locker room. They said maybe Taylor Heineke is a backup. Man, I think he might be getting a deal somewhere.
I think he might get re-signed in Washington.
He just might, man. He just might.
He just might. Because what was the contract that they gave to Wentz? What's the numbers there? I don't really know.
I can tell you in a second. Go ahead.
Just because I know that Wentz wasn't performing too great early in the season before he went down with an injury. Is he out for the season, or are they just choosing to play Heineke?
No, they're just choosing to play Heineke. Yeah.
Oh, they just benched him. So I mean, and I know his numbers may not be gaudy or anything like that, but I mean they're like 6-1 in the last 7 games. I mean, you wins are what matter most. You can't say he's not winning games. So, I don't know if they offer him a little mini deal, like a 2-year, $23, $24 million deal or something like that. I don't think they're gonna sign him to a long extension, but I could see it.
Dude, Carson's on a 4-year, $128 million contract.
Oh, wow.
It expires in 25. His average salary is 32 a year. What the what are y'all doing? Oh my God.
I did not realize Wentz was getting paid that much.
No, I didn't either. That's wild.
Oh man.
Yeah. Obviously he's top of that list. Heineke's at a whopping 1.5.
Yeah.
So
difference.
That's crazy.
Jeez. Wow.
Native said Arthur gets a C. So we're all about the same. I mean, right now right now on Twitter, it looks like let's see. 7% gave him an A so far, 59% a B, which is the majority, C 32, and 2% giving it. That's a harsh crowd right there. That D crowd. That's a tough one right there. Carrie says, "Shit, McGarry's too suspect. I don't know if I'm ready to pay him money, but I'm breaking the bank for Listrom." Yep, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Listrom, yeah.
Yeah, Xavier said, "I think you'll see a ton of 3-step drops for Ridder and allow him to process what's right in front of him." He was also a huge user of the back at Cincy, and utilize that as well. Yep. 100%. Arthur said, I'm sorry, Xavier said B minus. Yep. With everybody else, Bubba Gump said making the switch at the bye was right move to give Ridder some extra time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have done it earlier, but I get the bye week now for sure. Carrie said B minus. Yep. She said, I think just like last year, AS said the most he can with what he has. Our roster is arduous, cap hell, creating a no BS culture, which we didn't have with Quinn, 100%. But we had a lot of T-shirts, so we had a lot of T-shirts, a lot of cool sayings.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of
everything was
merch.
brotherhood, man. A lot of merch.
Embrace the suck, guys. Embrace the suck. Embrace the suck.
That's right. Embrace the suck.
Yes, sir.
Tell the truth Mondays, baby.
Tell the truth Mondays.
Sometimes I love the play calling. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly right. Xavier said we've been competitive in every game but 2 this year. That wasn't a trade of the Falcons teams that were more talented. There have been no quitting this roster and a bad one at that, man. 100%. And Bubba Gump said B, 70 million a day cap. Yep. And she said, Carrie said, allegedly we were supposed to only win 2 games this year. I also think our run game is dominant and scary. We haven't had that in a long time. Not in a long time.
Yeah.
For sure. And she said, I really think we can truly judge Arthur Smith fairly next year. We finally have the money to spend than we are 3 years in charge. Yeah. I mean, definitely going to see more of him. Xavier, next year will be the year we learn enough about him to make a more critical opinion as a head coach, 100%. And these are good takes. Like you're not seeing any crazy nonsense like you do on Twitter sometimes. So, you know.
Yeah, right.
I think we've only lost 2 of the 8 games by more than 1 score. For me, that's huge. We've been in it and competitive despite our bad roster and having a pretty bad passing game. Pretty bad. It's been, man.
True.
Side note, Mayfield is in for the Rams right now. Is he?
Yeah, I've been watching it. I've been watching it. His first drive was pretty decent.
Oh, Baker.
Xavier said Eagles gave Wentz that deal after the Super Bowl in hopes he would return to his previous form. Well,
they sure did.
Yeah, that did not happen. Yeah. So looking
but hey, they got Jalen Hurts now, so hey, they ain't.
Yeah, I think they're okay.
Yeah. So next little segment here. Let's talk about the defense, y'all. What a disgusting stat earlier, man. I heard on again Josh Kendall on with Aaron Freeman earlier today. The defense this year has given up about 6.5 yards per play, which is the second worst in the last 5 years of the NFL.
What?
So,
wow.
Yeah. So do you know what the first worst is? Our defense last year.
Wow.
So 2 years in a row giving up basically the most yards per play than any team in the NFL, and the worst in the last. I mean, like, I like Dean Pease. I know he hasn't had a lot to work with, but man, like they got to be some changes there, right? I mean, anybody? Yeah, Fleek, what y'all got?
No, I'm just still appalled because I expected you to say second lowest in the NFL this year. You said in the last 5
years.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, last game was the epitome of our defense to me because it was kind of bend but don't break-ish, but the drives were way too long. They were getting ran all over, so they only gave up 19 points. But it still wasn't a good defensive performance because of the yards per play. That, there are
third downs, man. Third downs.
Yeah, oh my gosh. We're terrible on third downs. We can't get off the field. There has to be some changes made. I don't know if that means like Pease would be gone or anything. I think Art may give him one more year with maybe give him a decent edge outside of Ebiketie or something like that. Maybe draft another corner and then give him something and like, all right, let's see what you can do with this. And then now if you can't do it, we know what's up. Art likes Dean Pease, and we see how Art feels when he has a bond with someone or a relationship. He may let it linger a little longer than it maybe should sometimes, but that could be to Dean Pease's benefit. So I think we'll probably be able to see what he can do next year too.
And Dean might call it a day too. He might be like, you know what? I'm too old for this shit. I got to take a break.
That's true too.
That's true.
Yeah. What you got, Lo?
Well, I mean, I think whenever Vincent Taylor went down before the season started, and then we were just losing defensive tackle after defensive tackle.
Goldman retired before
Goldman just retired. Goldman left to go get some Popeyes and just never came back.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
I mean, we all know that the heart of that 3-4 defense is that nose tackle. I think we need to get that guy. I think that's a big reason why we've just been giving up so many yards because our linebackers they're just not able to play free. Everybody's talking about Michael Walker, his struggles, but he should be a little bit cleaner than that. A lot of that goes to whoever's playing in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I feel like something that'll fix a lot of our problems would be that nose tackle position.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that. I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, and like TQ going down was huge, obviously, because he'd been. I mean, we thought at least what could be Grady's running mate for at least a little while, because and we said, like Fleek and I said on the last show, Abdullah and Jalen Dalton and those guys done a pretty good job. It's not been terrible, but it's just not been the same. Grady's not been getting that type of push that he's been able to get because offensive lines have been able to just hone in on Grady a little bit more and like not allow him to get in the backfield as much and disrupt stuff like he does. So, yeah, I mean, I know Arthur alluded to some changes too, possibly on defense. I don't think you can't at this point just totally upheave it and start doing different things, but you can, you can change it a little bit schematically in what you're doing and the way the players are on out. You're seeing Troy playing a little bit more out there. Anderson's getting a little bit more snaps than he has been getting. So, and Michael Walker's, since they took away that green dot, he's been playing a little bit better. That could have just been a little too much for him. I mean, a little bit, maybe, that's not him. Maybe he's just best as a Sam or whatever. I mean, instead of being that Mike type of guy. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking
But
of the changes, I've been having a funny thought all day. How do you think this news got out that Ridder is going to start? Because Arthur Smith said that we would know Monday next week. And he's usually pretty.
First thing I saw, I think, was Ian Rappaport's thing. That it said that Arthur informed Mariota this morning that he was.
Okay. I didn't
so I think that's kind of how, if I'm Arthur, I'd probably do it the same way. Like, let this kind of just get out. Like, and don't do a conference, like not a big to do or whatever. Like, let it just get the news out there. Let everybody find out. And then next week or Monday, whenever he's back in the facility, everybody's got time. Then they can just, ask whatever question they want to ask. So, I mean, that's what I'm guessing, at least. I don't know.
I remember on his press conference, I remember he said we'll know at the end of this week. So,
okay. At the very end of that conference, somebody asked him and he said, about how do you already know? Like, do you already know that if you know what you're going to do? And he said, I'm 95% sure. And like right then you're like, dang. Okay, well, like, all right, okay. That's why I felt so. That's why after that conference and like we've talked about it, Fleek, I just felt like just hit everything about that press conference, like his body language, what he said, the fact he was like, I mean, even that he even acknowledged what Josh Kendall said about change making us could bring a spark to the team. Like he wouldn't have done that weeks ago. He'd have been like, no, there is no controversy. Like that's it. So just all that was different. But so I'll see. False Start Falcon, what's up, bud? Good to see you, man. Kerry said AK-47 is going to be special, man. He's already making an impact as a rookie, and I love that guy. Yeah.
Yes. I agree.
Xavier said literal bend, but don't break defense. We're actually giving up a field goal less in points per game. 27 and 21 and 24 and 22. Yeah, man. And like Fleek said, it's just those drives are so damn long. It doesn't give our offense enough possessions.
Like especially since we have an offense that can't really take advantage of it up to this point. It is recipe for disaster. Yeah, when you run the ball all the time yourself and run the clock, that doesn't do you any good. So, I mean, if you get down a couple of scores, you're down a couple of scores late in the game, there's not a whole lot you can do. Oh, yeah, you're done. Yeah. And then you find yourself with 10 minutes left in the game, down by 21, still trying to run the ball to come back.
Yeah, the Bengals game. Yeah. I mean, the Bengals game. Exactly. I told you all you need to know right there. Yeah. Kerry said, I just want a pass rush. We made rookie and trash treat QBs look good. I want some big dogs on the line next to Grady to get him some help. Bubba Gump said, I want to see D'Angelo Malone take the next step next year. Yeah, he needs some more snaps. I agree. Xavier said, give me Brees from Clemson. I'm all about it. He said he is white Jeffrey Simmons, a freak of nature. Next to Grady that opens the door. Yeah, I'm all about Breesy, man. Get him in here.
Yeah, I'm down.
Kerry said, I was looking at the Falcons YouTube channel for a press conference today after the news come out, but nothing today, sadly. Yeah, I think they're all chilling this week, or at least for right
Yeah.
now, taking a few days off. And Xavier said, by the time Arthur, we'll talk about it Monday, all the fanfare will calm down. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, I think that's kind of smart to go ahead and do it and get it out of the way, so you don't have anything to talk about. Well, you're going to talk about it, but not as like feverish as it would have been today for sure. So looking at these rookies, I put out a thing. So, all right, so just grade this rookie, like who we've seen this year, grade these people for me. And man, I mean, all over the board, man, like from what I've seen so far. So I ask you guys, Drake London, what y'all giving him?
I'll let you go, Big Low.
I mean, I gotta give Drake a B plus. Based off of what it's like, to a certain extent, we've only seen like
a little bit what he can do.
Yeah,
right?
just a little bit of it. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. It's like catching a shooting star.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think I would give him a B plus. I feel like he's really taking advantage of the opportunities that he's had so far. And I give him a B plus.
I think he's third. Yeah. I think he's third in yardage or something like that behind Olave and Garrett Wilson. So
now
and rookies, yeah. So
that's kind of where I'm at, right at B plus, because I want to say A so bad, but like we haven't been able to see everything that he can do right now. Mm-hmm. But what he had with the chances that he has had, like I think he can be the wide receiver one of the future for this offense, and I think. Of course, you want to get a guy to be, his running mate at wide receiver 2, as you have Kyle Pitts at tight end. You still want to have a solid wide receiver 2, which OZ is doing pretty good at that right now. But I think Drake London is the wide receiver 1 of the future in Atlanta. So,
it's kind of funny, off topic, but it's kind of funny. Like last year, Matt got Russell Gage paid. I mean, like that $30 million contract was never going to come to Russell Gage had we had not had the injuries we had and Calvin betting on the team and whatever. We can kind of thank Marcus for not like doing that for Oz this year. like Oz is going to be more affordable next year because he ain't got those numbers, and he could have.
Yeah.
He could.
He could have.
He legit. So, like he's probably more of a 3. He's not. But I mean, like he's that guy that finds those holes in the zones and like gets open. Like that's that type of dude. So like maybe Marcus is solid there, but not really throwing in the ball as much as he probably could have. All right, AK-47.
B. I would say a B. He's shown flashes. There were some games that he didn't have too much of an impact, but a lot of games where it may not show up on the stat sheet, he was affecting the pocket. He was affecting the quarterback in a lot of games this season. Mm-hmm. So AK has been pretty good. I would love to see him take the next step next season. And I'm interested to see, when he's healthy, if he plays within these last 4 games. I'm interested to see how he closes out the season, because that spin move is something nasty. And you know what I'm saying? I'm interested to see us have a young pass rusher grow.
That one, that was against Washington, right?
Yeah.
That was so quick, dude. Like that's what Vic Beasley wanted to be right there. Like that spin move. That's what he wanted that spin move to be. I was like, damn, that was impressive. So what you got, Lo?
I'm gonna give him an A.
I like it.
I'm gonna give him an A. Based off of what I've seen, he looked like he could easily be a double-digit sack guy. I mean, I've seen him do almost every move, almost every pass rush move. And the thing is that, it's just kind of like what Kerry alluded to earlier. He really doesn't have too much to work with beside him. So just imagine if he does get that really good prototypical, defensive end, about 6'4", 270, long arms so long he could touch his knees without bending over. It's like, just imagine, guys. I'm just saying, like, I think I got to give him an A. He surprised me. I know we took him in the second round, but in my mind, he's playing like a first round pick.
I'm with him, man. Well, I mean, and looking at he's tied for 4th with Trevon Walker amongst rookies this year with 28 pressures. So, and you look at the top 3, Aiden Hutchinson with 37, Karlaftis, who I really liked, by the way, 33.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And Kayvon Thibodeau with 32. So, I mean, he's right there to be drafted 30 some odd spots past most of those guys. I mean, It's pretty. I mean, Travon Walker number 1, man. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's for value wise, that's not too shabby. All right, so Troy Anderson, tough one, kind of.
Are y'all waiting on me?
Anybody?
It's tough because I've seen him make a few mistakes, but he's so raw. He's so talented. Like, he's so athletically gifted. It's just a B minus. I'll say a B minus. The potential is obvious to see though. Like, with an off season of growth, and if they're able to help him progress the way that they've helped Richie progress since last year, in a way, if he takes the next step in the same way next season, I think we have a chance to have somebody special in the middle of the defense for the first time in a while. So I'm hoping he reaches the expectations. But right now, he's still a little raw. So I say a B minus.
What you got, Big?
Yeah, I give him a B. I know Dean Pease and his defense, he really doesn't like to play rookies all that early. For him to come in there and play as much as he has in this scheme, that's a testament to how well he's done. Just like Fleek said, he has made a few mistakes, but every game he makes a play where you're like, wow, if he could do that on a consistent basis, you're talking about a Pro Bowl player easy. So
Yeah.
I give him a B. It's kind of like the whole Drake London situation. You really don't know what you got with him because we haven't seen him as much. But I mean, yeah, I give him a straight B.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at, like you said, some of those flash plays, those block punts, like he's coming out like shot out of a cannon on those things. And then when he had that earlier in the year, and then against the Bengals, against the Bears, he came up to fill a run gap, and Justin took off to the left, and he filled the gap, and he still got across the line and tackled him behind the line of scrimmage. Like, it was like impressive as hell to see. Like, you don't see guys move like that laterally that are that big and that fast. So I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot to look forward to, I think, there. Before we go to the next guy, we'll jump in here. Xavier London at A- when having 5 receptions or more. He has only had under 70 yards once. Yep. AK-47, he's a pass rush specialist, needs to be better in run fit, but he can rush faster. Yep, agreed. And he said A- for AK. Bubba Gump said A- for AK. And Xavier said Troy's a C+. It's there. You can see the talent and the tools. It just needs to be properly molded. Yeah, 100%, man. When you play 3 different positions in college, I mean, like, you ain't got all the time in the world to be a great linebacker. So, I mean, I'm sure being QB for a while definitely gives him a different aspect at playing linebacker, which, and like you said, Lo, like, it's not something for Pease to play rookies all the time. And you didn't, that's why people were calling for Richie last year. Everybody was calling Richie a bust last year because he wasn't on the field. Like, no, that's not it. It's just, he's not trying to throw him out there to get destroyed. I mean, like, and it's kind of like what Arthur did with Ridder this year. Like, he's trying not to let their confidence or whatever just to get taken from them, in that initial part of the season. So, I like Fleek said, next year going to be interesting because if he takes that leap, then, I mean, he could be something special for sure. And I put Malone on there. For me, Malone's kind of incomplete because of the amount of snaps he's had. I don't know about you guys.
So. Yeah.
Because I think he shows some signs, but I think, in college he was definitely that speed type of. He's not the biggest guy, but I mean, like, he's got that speed type of aspect. I think if he adds a few pounds, I don't want to take away that speed, what makes him special, but I think he could be developed into something better. And Tyler Algier, man.
I give Tyler Algier an A.
You got to give an A, right?
A, because Tyler Algier is a bulldozer. He is a bowling ball, and he runs with so much aggression and power each and every play. Like, I call him Mr. 3 and 4 the hard way. That's what I call Tyler Algier. And occasionally he'll break off the 10 to 15 to 20-yard runs. And I don't know, Tyler Algier isn't the fastest guy, but sometimes you get him out on that edge. He has a second gear that he can hit. And I just think that he could be a potential bell cow running back of the future. And because I feel like if he had not been splitting carries as much as he has this season, I think he would end up being a 1,000-yard rusher.
Probably, yeah. Low?
Yeah, I got to give him an A. I agree with everything Fleek said. It's like he runs people over, but I really appreciate his vision. It's like
It's improved
it-
so much throughout the year
it
too.
really has, hasn't it?
Yes.
Like I forgot it was a game. I think it was the Chicago game where it's like everybody was washed down and he just put his foot in the ground and just went around the edge and he got like 25 yards. I'm sitting here like, man, like that was, I mean, the vision and I mean his decisiveness is like he doesn't always try to run people over. Like a lot of times he'll make people miss. And I mean he really feels like the complete bag. And just like Xavier said, I agree with what he said. For a 5th round pick, yes, I mean you gotta give him an A+.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and that's what that's what Xavier said. He said 5th round, you gotta be kidding me, A++. That's true, man. And Bubblegum, same thing, got an A. And Xavier did say Troy reminds me of Isaiah Simmons, just a lower level tweener. Yeah, it's good,
I can
probably
see
good,
that.
probably good comp there. Yeah. And Bubba said he wants to run over people, not around him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does. But like Lowe said, he did that a lot more during the earlier part of the season. But like he's getting a little bit smarter now, which is good because we've seen guys, Devonta Freeman, like he liked contact too. He didn't last in the league very long. So I mean, like
Right.
the fact that we've got 3 backs that can go out there and they're all similar, but they all do something a little bit different. That can spell each other. I mean, that's just going to extend their life in the league. So I mean, that's a good thing. So, and with CP not getting any older, and that's what kills. Like I've seen so many takes about like, hey, if Bijan's there, we got to take him at 15 or wherever we draft. Like I have such a hard time taking I know he might be a generational running back, but we literally just drafted a guy in the 5th round, and look what he's doing in Arthur's offense. So like that would hurt me to take a running back that high, knowing that man. Like we could, you know what I mean?
Yeah, look at
like,
what you found. Like you found a diamond in the rough. Why snuff out that value by spending a 1st round pick on another running back, even if he is generational, like you said? And another thing about Tyler Algier that I really like to watch is not only will he, bulldoze people, but he's like his contact balance is different. So he's running through tackles. He's not just running over people. He's running through arm tackles. You got to make sure you square up with him. So I mean, he's just a treasure to watch run every week when he gets his carries.
Yeah, his yak yards are just stupid. Like the first person does not take him down ever. Like unless he just happened to trip him up or something. Like he's not coming down. And as Xavier said, Tyler's giving CP84 a longer leash. Yeah, I think they help each other out, man. Same way. I mean, he's helping CP extend his career, and he's helping Tyler not get beat the hell up in his early part of his career. Because I mean, that's like I said, I want to keep him as healthy as we can keep him for as long as we can. So overall, man, like how I just got this tweet said, Sacrifice for Bryce said, this is nothing but an A draft class. Every other answer is wrong. London, Arnold, and Tyler are the future. So that was my next thing. Like overall for Fontenot this year, y'all giving him an A for this class?
I am personally. I feel like from every rookie that we've seen, we see the potential or we see them producing right now. So like, as far as the first draft, we had a few players that were like, okay, we know that one player that shouldn't even play on the NFL team, right? And then there are a few players that had slow starts like Richie. But this year, the rookies are like, they're hot, and they're showing you right now that you have such a good core group to build on. This could end up being one of those drafts which you look back on and say that was the one that gave them that base that they needed to build on to create the championship team. Because think about it, if AK turns into an elite pass rusher, if Drake London turns into an elite receiver, and Algier continues to run the way he is and gets more carries and his production just goes up, that right there is 3 potential stars that you drafted the same year.
Yeah, basically 3 first-round talents. You could say,
basically.
I mean, that type of thing that you did not have to draft first in the first round for. So,
exactly. And not even to mention if Ridder ends up being the guy that would take this draft class.
Obviously the guy I didn't mention because no playing time yet, so we don't know. But So, will you say low A as well for Terry?
Man, I'm gonna say A all the way around the board for this year and last year. I mean, if you look at the amount of guys that have been getting consistent playing time from the Kyle Pitts to the Richie Grants, Avery Williams.
All right.
It's like, Avery Williams, like every time he gets the balls, it seems like something electric happens.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you count in this year's draft class. You know, you got the Drake Londons, the Troy Andersons, Arnold Ebikettis, Desmond Ridders, D'Angelo Malones. It's like you got to give them an A. And this is different than we've seen all these other Falcons teams be, because how often have we seen, you know, you have a 2017 draft class, 2019, only one of them is playing. Like we've seen it happen so many times, you know, and this is how the Steelers are successful for so many years. This is how the Packers are successful for so many years. It's like they draft well, and you know they try to keep their guys. The ones they can't keep, they let them go. But you know, these last 2 years, these are two of the best drafted years we've had, I believe, ever.
Oh yeah, I mean,
or at least in a long time.
A long time, yeah, for sure. And Xavier said Tyler's given CP. Oh no, sorry, I read that one. He said, "Think about this. Tyler has been so good. He's seeing CP return kicks again." Yeah,
right.
And he said, "I hate to say this, but if you get 4th and 7th rounders who are at the very least become quality special teamers, that's a win." Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And James said Mayfield F plus.
F minus, boy. Oh my gosh.
So I think he came off IR. Well, it's technically came off of IR, right? But I think they put
he's
him back
on or something.
He's back on, or he's done.
He's
Yeah, he's not
done.
playing again. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I think they just got to eat that one. So yeah, we made a mistake on that one, guys. So I mean, and looking at some of the free agents, and we'll end the show on the free agents that we could possibly get. I know Damski's not here, but he's huge fan of Jesse Bates, who will be a free agent. So first of all, what do y'all think of Jalen Hawkins like so far? Are you sold on Jalen, or if you got the opportunity to go get Jesse and pay him, you go do that?
I mean,
because I can tell you in a second how much Jesse Bates, or how much it says that he's on Spot Track at least. I'll find it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, with Jalen Hawkins, I feel like the reason why the safeties are looking so bad is because they have to play. There's times where they have to play the depth of a linebacker because we have to blitz so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I really don't want to count Jalen Hawkins out. Like, yes, he's missed some tackles and things like that, but he's also made some plays.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say Jesse Bates is scheduled to make $15 million.
Spot Track's saying 10.6, but that's
10.6. Yeah, that's.
I'm all in. I'm all in for 10.6, but like that's going to change based on the teams that are out there trying to vie for his services. So
based off of how much the salary cap is going to go up next year.
That too. Yep.
Yeah, inflation is real.
Mm-hmm. So, lie, man.
I mean, I would take Jesse Bates for $10 million though over Jalen Hawkins. Yeah,
I would too. Yeah, if that's going to be the case, then I would do that in a heartbeat. But and then one of the most heralded interior defensive linemen is going to be Javon Hargrave from Philly. And I think they'll probably re-sign him, but he's looking at about $20 million a year type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be tough, man. If you're paying him and Grady up front there, like that's tough. I mean, it'd be
20.
Yeah. And then I've seen
that boy had to come to the A and show out.
Yeah, say the least. But so the guys that we've all been looking at that we want, like Jerron Payne, obviously has been talk of since we played him, and then obviously he made the play of the game that ended up sealing the game for the Commanders against us. So he's going to be a free agent. Roquan Smith, who a lot of folks wanted to get this year at the deadline, he's going to be a free agent. Could shore up some of that linebacking group for us. Another guy who got that Tennessee connection, David Long, who's had a hell of a season. So he is so far in 22, 90.3 run defense grade, which would be great because our run defense not great. We could use an upgrade there.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's guys. I mean, it's just a matter of and then I just want to see it, whether it's offensive line, defensive line. Like I'd like to see some additions there, because that's obviously where we've kind of avoided in the past and it's hurt us so many times. It's like I would love to see us for once just like build from the inside out and see where we go with that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we need to build those trenches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and offensive lineman wise, there's Jack Conklin in the Cleveland Browns. He's gonna be out there 11.3. They're saying probably.
Ooh, I like that.
What about Eric McCoy? How much you're saying for him?
Eric McCoy, I'll look him up. I've just got to see. Elgin Jenkins from Green Bay will be out there. Another guy that may not be as expensive, Dalvin Tomlinson from the Vikings, interior lineman. And he's been pretty solid too. What do y'all think about corner? Y'all think you think draft a corner or go out there and get a free agent corner?
If I'm a big fan right now of first round cornerback, depending on the exact number we land on. I don't know exactly where we'll draft yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're at somewhere around 15, I'm looking at Gonzalez from Oregon. I like him a lot.
Sign me up. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him a lot from what I have seen. So I'd rather draft a corner. But if you run me some names of the free agent corners next year.
Well, James Bradbury, Philadelphia.
He's going to get a bag, though.
He is. It's going to be. I mean, they're saying like 17, but that could go up. So Cam Sutton from the Steelers, which would be affordable. He'd be like a more of a number 2 type of guy, like a real number 2. They're saying 7.6 for him. Just trying to think of a few other guys. Jamil Dean at Tampa Bay. Didn't have a number on him. Another offensive lineman though, Mike McGlinchey from San Francisco. That might be also. That's a 10.7. He said they say 10.7 was And hey, what about this guy? Well, Patrick Peterson, man. He's still performing.
I'll take Patrick Peterson
for a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah.
I can see it.
One year, $6 million. That's what they got him at.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, 1 year, $6 million. Yeah, I'm down.
So because he'll be his 13th year in the league. He'll be 33 or 34.
3, I think.
Yeah, something like that next year. So yeah, and Jordan Poyer, safety, also going to be out there.
I like Jordan Poyer.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. But I don't know if I said this, but I kind of feel like Big Low in a way with Jalen Hawkins because, man, like for as many missed tackles as he's had or not been in the right place, he's been in the right place a lot, and he's created a lot of turnovers, and he's like the tip ball interception king. Like at the end of the game, you need that last interception. Is. He's right there somehow.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. I'm not saying I would want to give up on him, but I mean, with the numbers, I expected you to tell me that like especially with Bates, I expected you to say a wild number. Like 10 mil. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to go up too. I'm positive of that.
Right?
Now, what about a couple of guys in our division? So Levante David is going to be out there. Any interest in him at linebacker?
Nah,
not for you, Fleek.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm like,
I'm with you. How about a couple of Saints? Now, a couple of Saints, I kind of am a little bit. David Onyemata. I could take Onyemata.
I'm down.
That dude can blow up some stuff. And Marcus Davenport on the edge.
I think Marcus Davenport would fit, but I'm worried about his injury history.
Right, that's what I'm thinking about.
Big time, yeah. And Robert Quinn going to be a free agent, even though he just went over to the Ravens. But they're saying he's got an average of 14 million AAV. He's on the downside of his career too, so I don't know. He's going to get that same contract again, but. Never know. Like, who'd you ask me about on offensive line again?
Oh well, Xavier, he actually updated us. He said Eric McCoy signed an extension with New Orleans.
Never mind.
Oh man, sucks.
Yeah. Another guy I like, man, Ashawn Robinson, going to become big Alabama boy.
Yeah.
$8 million. I mean, he's a big body. I would and I personally I would bring back Zoe Carter. I don't know about you guys.
I would too.
They're estimating 3.5 annual.
Oh, so
that's yeah. And then, dude, we just saw with the Steelers, Larry Ogunjobi, however you say it. Not too bad. 8 million AAV. And then I already said Hargrave, Tomlinson, and Onyemata. Onyemata is projected to get around 10, and Deron Payne's around 14. So I mean, I'd prefer Payne.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And then another Marcus Peters is going to be a free agent too, and they're looking at 9 to 10 million there.
Now I'm interested in Marcus Peters at CB2. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, me too. Jonathan Jones, Patriots, looking at 12.4, probably a little bit higher. Younger guy though, so I mean, I think he'll be in his 4th, 5th year. But and then of course our boy Isaiah Oliver is going to be a free agent too. Y'all bringing him back?
I like Isaiah, man, but his impact this season hasn't been as great as it was in the first half of last season. I like him. For the right price, I'll bring him back for the right price. But I'm not pounding the table,
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. If it's not a crazy deal, I can.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't feel any certain type of way about him. I mean, it sucked when he got hurt last year because he was playing great, playing better than we'd ever seen him play.
Yeah, he was balling out
in his short career. So we were hoping he could return to that when he came back, and he's looking more like himself now. Like now that first couple of games was shaky, but he's looking more comfortable now. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we'll see. Pop back in the chat real quick before we close it out. And then Xavier said, I want Jesse Bates if we're going to make a splash anywhere. He fits P's scheme perfectly up and allow Richie to come down, especially with us hopefully going to IDL/DM with our first round pick. Yeah, I think so too. And Kerry says he had to hop off. Yeah, thanks, Kerry. Appreciate you joining us. And he said about Eric McCoy. And then Xavier said, with all the players you've named in free agency, Ridder being a hit opens the door to sign all of them and then some. Yeah, having a third-round cap hit opens the door for so much more to come on. Come on, Rid. Dude, that's a huge point, man. Like, you're talking about a quarterback that's going to cost you like $1 million or $2 a year. For that's insane. I mean, you look at what I just read out about Carson Wentz, how much he's costing the team. He's not even starting. Like it's so hard to hit on a quarterback, man. Like as we said at the beginning of the show, like you just don't know whether it's it could be your first pick. I mean, you could like Mariota. I mean, like they never really, progress into what that first pick would have, deemed. You look at some of the guys even this year. I mean, that's not really producing that was drafted high. So I mean, and I get what Arthur said about not wanting to, he was dead set on not putting him in too early because not wanting to potentially disrupt the arc of the kid's career or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it to an extent, but he's not the typical junior quarterback that played for 2 years, started 2 years, and came out. Like he's, a full 4-year starter, has a kid, more mature type of guy. Like but me personally, like I'd feel better about bringing him in earlier in the season and not worried about his emotional well-being. I figured he would be just fine with it. So that's why I would have brought him in earlier than now, me personally. But I mean, like I said, I think, he comes from a good place. I understand it. Cause you see like guys that have just been thrown into, because the high draft picks, you're getting thrown into a bad team normally, right? Like you look with Zach Wilson with the Jets. Granted, he's probably got some other issues going on, but he can't get on the field now because Mike White probably going to play the rest of the season now as a starting quarterback. He's going to fight for his job next year. You just never know, man. Like if and I don't know that we're going to know after these 4 games. I think we'll see enough to just say like, okay, he's got that in him that we can go into next season and say, all right, man, let's go. This is going to be your team. So
I feel like we will know if he's not the guy. If that becomes very apparent, then we know. But if he's like decent and can be serviceable, I think they may give him next season as his chance to like be the franchise, to earn that spot, to be that guy. Because Ridder hitting like he said is like best case scenario.
Man,
that's what you want right there. And what a better time to have all this cap space clear up, because you want to, as a team, even if he was a first round pick, you still want to maximize the rookie contract, because that's the least amount of money, if he hits, that's the least amount of money he'll make in his career if he's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. So you want to maximize on that, 3 to 5 year window that you have there. So,
Yep. So you think same thing, Lo?
Oh yeah. I definitely agree. Now's the time. We're gonna have a Seattle Seahawks window. Question is, are we gonna be able to, follow through on it? That's the question.
100%,
Right.
man, 100%. So before we get out, man, I asked Fleek last show, Lo, what you thinking for the college football playoffs? Georgia just going to run over everybody, or somebody else got a chance?
I mean, I think Ohio State has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they legit have a chance. But I mean, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with what's going on with McConkey. You know,
Yeah.
because Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington, they ain't gonna be able to just handle the passing game by themselves. Now we know that Georgia does, and you know they got a lot of wide receivers waiting in the wings, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, Ohio State, man, they finna be slinging that tater. So
Marvin Harrison Jr. and even with dudes sitting out, like they still got a couple of top, along with him too. So it'll be it's gonna be interesting for sure. I mean, I think that Michigan and Fleek and I thought about it. I think Michigan TCU is gonna be a hell of a game. Like, I think it's gonna be a fun one to watch. And if it is Michigan, then if it's Michigan UGA, I think that's kind of what I'd prefer to see. And like I said at the beginning of the show, like I gave Michigan I thought they were going to give them a game last year, and they just, I mean, it wasn't even in the damn ballpark. So like, I hope they would give them a game this year, but who knows, man. Xavier said the Eagles have shown what you can do with a third round guy. Yeah. They went out and splashed with A.J. Brown, Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner, Johnson, and Sue as example. 100%, man. Yeah, I mean, it kills me that Jalen's up there balling out, but yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'm used to seeing the Alabama boys go teams I don't like and do well. So,
that's so tough.
So yeah, well, boys, we'll get out of here, man. I appreciate you guys. Before we do, man, Lo, tell everybody where they can find you, reach you, watch you, subscribe to you, all that good stuff.
Definitely. Hey, everybody. My name is Big Low Country. Make sure that you come check us out at Big Low Country Sports on YouTube. Also at Big Low Country on Instagram and Twitter.
100%, man. Y'all got to check out the coaches meeting after he has it after the games, man. It's always good fun, man. It's always good fun. There's a lot of personalities that come through there. A lot of emotions that run high. I mean, Fleek and I have done a few shows, and Mike and I did, a few shows after the game. That's when you really, really get to be entertained by some of the folks.
Rough,
you see some crazy takes, but all right, man. Fleek, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, man. You can follow me on Twitter at Ron Rico Season. Also follow at NM Falcons ATB on Twitter. That's the the main podcast I take a part of on the ATB network. Appreciate you for inviting me on, John. I can't wait to keep this thing rolling, man.
Of course, I mean, and I shouted out, I sent it out on Twitter earlier, but yeah, while Mike is out, Fleek is going to be my stand-in co-host, so he's going to be filling in for Mike, and we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, man, doing those preview shows, doing the recap shows, and we're just going to keep it going until Mike gets back. And then, of course, we're still going to have Fleek back on the show as always. We've had during the season. Big Low, we're going to have back on the show. Just having this community, like JR said, like when I filled in for Toby, man, like it's just so cool having like everybody that's kind of, I can send a message to anybody. Hey, man, anybody want to join the show? Jump on there and just talk and just have a blast. So, man, appreciate you guys so much for coming on and just having a little fun on the bye week, man. So we had something really good to talk about for once. So it's fun.
All for once.
There you go, man. As usual, I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
It was fun, man. Xavier said, "Let me hop on that." Yeah, let's make it happen, buddy. Let's do it. I'm all about it. So y'all have a good rest of your bye week. I know everybody said that they're going to be just fine with no Falcons football this year. You're lying. You're going to be upset on Friday when you wake up and you got no Falcons. I don't care if they piss you off or not. You're going to be upset because you ain't got nobody to watch. You're going to sit around. There's no college on Saturday. I mean, it's just, I don't know what the hell to do with myself this weekend, man. I'm going to have to end up doing like chores around the house and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Yeah.
It's over with, man. I don't even understand it. Yeah, but
too fast, man.
Too fast, dude. It's crazy. How's the season almost over?
I know
it's ridiculous.
How's this happening? But anyway, y'all put a lot of good vibes toward Desmond, and let's have some fun when we get back and beat the freaking Saints down in New Orleans. And we'll have a show. Fleek and I will be back next week with Chris. Fleek will get to meet Chris, the great friend of ours, Mike and ours, huge Saints fan. Cool. From Baton Rouge, knows the Saints inside and out. He's the only Saints person I will talk to, so we'll have him on, and we'll give him a little bit of shit. I'm sure he'll give us some, and we'll have some fun with it. So, anyway, guys, y'all enjoy the rest of your week. We'll get out of here, and much love, guys. Later.
Peace.